Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? It's your boy Voodoo Vids back again for another live stream. Hope everyone is doing well. There's a lot going on, and I thought we should review this video. It's in the theme of the whole Israel-Palestine conversation that's happening. All the things that are happening right now is quite terrible to see. Um, and just when you think it's bad, we have our very own Islamic intellect, the wisdom, the wise, the all-knowing Ali ibn Ali Dawa, mashallah, tabarakallah, radiyallahu anhu, mashallah. He's waving the flag of Islam proudly for the ummah, and just when you think um, you can't get any more stupid, just when you think his voice can't get any more screechy, almost sort of, what that sort of that cat that used to scratch the blackboard. That's his voice. When you're at school and that cat scratching the back blackboard, that is Ali Dawa. If that's what if his voice could be described in one way, it would be that. And it's amazing this man has any sort of currency or relevancy, but I suppose he appeals to the sort of lowest common denominator. If he was a newspaper, he would be the Sun. For those in the UK, Um, the Sun newspaper, the sort of tabloid trash headlines, bang bang, all that kind of stuff. Um, that is him. So we're going to be reviewing this video here, where he responds to Nas Daily. For those of you who don't know, Nas Daily is a blogger. He's been quite successful, got millions and millions of views on various platforms, and he's actually Palestinian, ethnically speaking, but he lives in Israel. And he made some interesting comments that I think we should dive into. Um, so let's get into it without any further ado, and let's see what he has to say. And I should have a warning, cringe, sort of like how you have a what's it, trigger warning. This is a cringe warning. Let's let's get into it.
This is Luna, and we're gonna see, how obedient he is when he's given a biscuit, as you can see. Luna, sit, sit, whoa, sit. Good.
No, it's all right.
Okay. So that's a female dog. And as you can see, we came to his owner and asked for permission. He gave us a biscuit. You can see how much he has loyalty to his owner, his master that looks after him. So much so that as a random person who had a biscuit, he even listened to me when I said sit down. That's the loyalty of a dog. But not every person is loyal as a dog. And some dogs are better than some human beings, like Nas. This is what this individual, I don't think he's a Muslim, Munafiq. He's probably Munafiq. He's probably not even a Muslim, as far as I know. Last time he said
I don't think he is a Muslim. I think he's ex-Muslim.
this person has a nifaq, hypocrisy. Here's what he has to say. This coward. Look what he has said. Personal thoughts. For the longest time, I struggled with my identity. You're a coward. You never had an identity.
Sorry. Someone who struggles with their identity is a coward. How? Maybe if you've got an IQ in single digits, maybe you could make such a stupid statement, right? And what the hell was that thing with the dog? So you're saying, Ali Dawa, if someone gives you a biscuit, you should be loyal and wag your tail. So I guess you're the dog in this situation. Is that what you're saying? That you are the dog, and someone gives you a biscuit, and then you say yes sir, no sir, licking him and all that kind of crap. What kind? This is, bro. These analogies make literally no sense. He is the dog, the loyal dog in this situation. Uh, anyway, this is like 30 seconds in. Let's go.
Identity. You are a coward. Like Malcolm X said, if you don't stand for nothing, you fall for anything. You are an absolute coward, yeah?
Did he say he stands for nothing? He says, I was confused about my identity. He did not say, I don't believe in anything. I don't stand for anything. Man, some of the comprehension that these people have is so poor. So poor. They read into people's statements things that they never said. Okay? Genuinely baffles the mind.
A Palestinian kid born into Israel, like what the F? Okay, many of my friends refuse to this day to say the word Israel and call themselves Palestinians only. Why the hell should they accept it? Hey, you think everyone's a sellout like you cow?
Okay. Why should they accept it? Because they live in Israel. If they're born in Israel or live in Israel, get the education in Israel, have jobs in Israel, marry in Israel, have kids in Israel, don't you think maybe they should say, well, yeah, I'm Palestinian Israeli, or I'm Israeli Palestinian, which however you wish to frame that. Why is that complicated? Now you go, oh, they're the oppressor, they're this, they're that. But they seem to be benefiting from living in Israel. In fact, if you want the best chance to be, if you're a Palestinian and you want the best chance at life, your best bet is probably to live in Israel, not even in the other neighboring Arab states. Palestinians don't do well in the other neighboring Palestinian, in the other states that neighbor Palestine and Israel. And I've seen many accounts of people or Palestinians in Jordan actually quite suffering. Firstly, Jordan, you can't compare the economy of Jordan to Israel. That's number one. And number two, because I think there's some sort of gray area around their status, right? Their citizenship. So if you actually want the best chance as a Palestinian, your best bet, believe it or not, is in Israel. So for him to say I'm Israeli or that's a completely normal statement. But obviously within the minds of someone like an Ali Dawah or even Ali Dawah's followers, who just can't, they won't give any sort of credit, any sort of um yeah, well, any credit or credibility to Israel, even for the average citizen. How that makes him a coward, I don't know. Like I said, this man is not known for his logic, so we'll have to excuse him on that. He's made, to be fair, I'm going to be fair to him. He's made a very good career on YouTube by not being logical. So maybe I should follow his example and just start spouting random things. Maybe I'll get some more traction, right? But anyway, let's just continue with this stupid rant. He just keeps saying coward every other word. Coward, coward, coward. Let's go.
What? Huh? Bro, I wish I'd come across you in life. Not that I'm gonna do anything to you. I would love to see you face to face. You coward. I'm not even Palestinian. But since I was 12, that did not make sense to me. So I decided to mix the two and become a Palestinian Israeli. I thought this term reflected who I was. Palestinian first, Israeli second. Just wait till the end, guys. Yeah, okay. But after recent events, I started to think and think and think, and then my thoughts turned to anger. SubhanAllah, was you angry for the sake of your brothers and sisters who have been blown into pieces, who have been oppressed for the past 75 years? You coward? Of course not. I realized that if Israel were to be invaded like that again, we would not be safe. To a terrorist invading Israel, all citizens are targets. Look at how we cause those individuals who some deem as freedom fighters, yeah, as terrorists. But Israel.
Okay, my goodness, this guy. I'm gonna go back to that tweet and read it again actually because that was a spot on thing. This is the confusion, okay? So obviously someone like Ali Dawah, unfortunately, may Allah bless him, is deficient in logic or even empathy. Forget logic, even empathy he does not have. So we'll have to break it down for him, bi'idhnillah. Um, okay, so I decided to mix the two to become Palestinian Israeli. What's the controversial point about that? He literally is a Palestinian Israeli. He's a Palestinian ethnically living in Israel. By that definition, I'm a British Pakistani. I'm British citizen of Pakistani origin. Why is that confusing? Why is that so? Anyway, I thought this term reflected who I was. Palestinian first, Israeli second. Makes sense. But after recent events, I started to think and think and think, and then my thoughts turned to anger. I realized that if Israel were to be invaded, like that again, we would not be safe. To terrorists invading Israel, all citizens are targets. What's the controversial statement about that? He is literally telling the truth. They do not care who dies in Israel as long as they make a big military statement. As long as they destabilize Israel or attack Israel and get people dead and so on and so forth, they don't know if you're an ethnically Palestinian or an ethnically Israeli, whether you're a Muslim or a Jew or whatever. Right? And he's right. He's living in Israel. He's a citizen of Israel. He's respected there. Has his rights there. He's built his business there. Very successful. If someone came over the border and started attacking people, they would not discriminate. They're not going to ask, oh, by the way, are you a Jew first? Oh, by the way, are you Muslim first? They're not going to do that. That's not how it works. And he's absolutely right. This is, and I've encountered this way of thinking, um, the kind of thinking that Ali Dawah is talking about. How on their freedom fight? Yeah, okay, fuck it, we'll park that for the time being. But I've encountered this kind of thinking in my own extended family and just speaking to Muslims in general. I'm like, like whether you're Pakistani, Egyptian, whatever it may be, you live in the West. Most of you guys are born in the West. If not, you've made careers here. You've Most of your life you spent here. You made money, family, memories, roots, links, all that kind of stuff. Networks. You have your own mosque. You have your own communities in this country and in like Western countries. At the same time, they kind of want the downfall of the West while living here, while being a citizen of this country, having all the rights, being protected by the government. They kind of secretly be like, well, it would be great if it kind of fell apart. And that's why I think they make such good and weird bedfellows with the sort of more extreme left, which is like, yeah, the West sucks, everything is patriarchy, everything is racism. Because they're kind of like both enjoying living in this country. They both enjoy the sort of luxuries they have: financial, economic, political, personal. They enjoy all those freedoms, but at the same time, they're like, wouldn't it be great if this whole thing just collapsed? There is this sort of anarchic kind of undertone to their whole philosophy, right? But I've had this conversation so many times with other family members and friends. I'm like, you do realize your children are going to be affected negatively if this does happen. If there is some sort of war and we're on the receiving end of it, i.e., we the West, your children they could die, they could suffer, they could lose their jobs, they could lose their rights overnight to a foreign invader that doesn't care. To them, you're just British, you're just the other, you're just English, you're just white. And this is what Nas is saying, is that to Hamas, who are literally extremists, who literally have it within their charter to destroy Israel, do you think they'll stop to say, well, Nas, he's one of us, I guess we'll give him a free pass? No, they don't give a shit. So this is why he was confused. He's like, what's the point in me waving the Palestinian flag, calling myself Palestinian, when the most extreme Palestinians, right, Hamas, the most empowered Palestinians currently at the moment, would not hesitate in killing me? And I've seen this attitude, especially in Europe, right, amongst Muslim communities. Wouldn't it be great if? And I'll give you one example. It's not that violent or extreme, but it was just kind of funny. And I was like, I was at this. I can't remember where it happened, but I was at this meeting, um, and I think this was during Brexit time, so 2015, 16. And we were talking about Brexit, oh, are you pro-Brexit, anti-Brexit, pro-Brexit, whatever. And one uncle, Pakistani guy, he was actually from Wales, like Welsh Pakistani. He's quite old, 50, 60 years old, maybe probably 60, 70 years old. And someone asked him, would you vote for Brexit? And he said, yes. And everyone was like, why would you vote for Brexit? He goes, oh, I know Brexit is a bad thing, but I would vote for it as revenge on what the British did to India or Muslims across the world. So hang on. You've been living in Wales. Your family's in Wales. Okay. He was before that. He was saying, I'm a proud Welsh person. I'm a proud Welsh person, right? And then in the same sentence, you would say, I would vote for Brexit, which in his mind is bad, right? But I would do it anyway to get revenge on what happened 200 years before. But in my argument, like, but you would be harming yourself to sort of correct some sort of historical justice, which doesn't even exist anymore. So this thing is real. I'm not making this up. I've heard so many conversations like this. Anyway, let's just go on with this.
Israel, all citizens are targets. Look at how we cause those individuals who some deem as freedom fighters, yeah, as terrorists. But Israel and what it's been doing and killing, massacre men, women, children, you coward, you scum. I will spit in your face that day if I could.
Now that is disgusting. That is disgusting and cringe. That is a scum thing to do. That's the cowardly thing to do, is to spit on a fake image of someone. Firstly, spitting on someone is a disgusting thing to do in the first place. It's a very it's not even amongst violent men who think they're macho. You throw a punch, you don't spit on someone's face. That's a cowardly thing to do. That's a disgusting thing to do. So he's the coward and he's the scum in the situation, Ali Dawah, right? And to sort of I'll put it on an image. That, oh man, sometimes you don't know whether to laugh or cry with these people. Genuinely, you're like, what is this guy? What is he? I don't know if he's Ali Dawah or Ali G or this is like a parody or something. Honestly,
If I could see you face to face, 67 kids got killed, massacred. Did you say a single word? Did you call Israel a terrorist state? Never, you coward.
okay. You notice how on both sides people have been killed, but he only seems to mention the Palestinian. And by the way, what was Israel supposed to do? So Israel's attacked. Like any country on the planet, if you're attacked, what, you're just going to sit there? Oh, I guess we won't retaliate then. Of course, they will attack back, and of course, unfortunately, there would be collateral damage on both sides. But I always say, if you're a country and you provoke an attack on another country, if that country responds and kills your people, you are responsible for your people's death because you started it. Okay? If you started the attack, you can't then complain, oh, you can't attack me like that. I want you to attack me like this. Nonsense. And Hamas are not freedom fighters. They are genuine terrorists. These people are genuinely anti-Jew, anti-Semitic, anti-human. These people are. And the shocking thing, I think, and listen, this is not the first time this happened, but I do remember whenever this used to happen. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because I was Muslim, I only read the Muslim version or the Palestinian version. But I do remember even mainstream media. Sometimes they were more sympathetic towards the Palestinian side. Right, even if they didn't agree with it or they were uncomfortable with Hamas and things like that, they were more sympathetic. This is the first time that I've seen in mainstream media them not being as sympathetic towards Hamas because they're like, WTF, what the hell was this? How does this further your goals? How is this bringing peace to Palestine? Nonsense. So no, I don't accept that they're freedom fighters. They make everything worse for Palestinians, and they are making the situation basically of peace untenable.
And it reminds me of coming from individuals like Faris, yes, and the rest who are quiet, who will never condemn Israel as well. Anyways, we will not be safe again. To terrorists invading Israel, all citizens are targets. So look at the compassion he has. Yes, of course, innocent people, no problem. But to occupying forces, military individuals, yes, there's a conflict that's going on. 900 Israelis died so far. More than 40 of them are Arabs, killed by other Arabs. And even two Thai people died too. And I do not want to live under a Palestinian government. You coward. You're
What's cowardly about that? But did you see here, if you just go back a second, so 900 Israelis died and 40 of them are Arabs. That's literally the point I said. They don't care if you're Arab or you're Israeli. They just see you as the other. So they will kill you, no problem. And I do not want to live under a Palestinian government. To be honest with you, mate, I don't think many Palestinians want to live under a Palestinian government. If you gave them the chance, would you rather live in Palestine, or would you rather live in Israel, or would you rather live in America or a UK or Canada or whatever? They'd probably choose the other countries.
want to live under a Palestinian government. You coward. You don't even deem yourself Palestinian, which means only I have one home, even if I am not Jewish, which is Israel. There you go, bro. This is literally a house Palestinian. Yes, if you get what I'm saying. That's
No, I don't get it. No. So this whole house again. Hang on a second. This whole house Palestinian, of course, this house N-word, field N-word. I'm sure you know. You get the reference from Malcolm X. So basically, he's saying that he's a sellout. He's an Uncle Tom. Okay. Why is it being a sellout to not wanting to join a terrorist organization or living under a government which is a terrorist organization? Do you see the level of brain rot in some of these arguments presented by Ali Dawah and his like? Genuinely baffling. So this is the level of blind submission that they demand, is even if our government is terrorist and this and killing, and firstly, they're not even terrorists, they're freedom fighters, right? Okay, fine. But even if you don't like it, you should still want to live under it. Why? Why? Let's extend this. I do not want to live under a Palestinian government. Okay, I'm from Pakistan. My parents didn't want to live under a Pakistani government, right? Many immigrants from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Nigeria, Egypt, Somalia leave their countries to live under other governments. Are they also sellouts? Are they also house whatever? Right? N-words or house Palestinians, Pakistanis, whatever nonsense. So Ali Dawah has an issue with the fact that this man considers his home to be Israel. He says, I'm not Jew, right? But this is where I grew up. This is my country, and I want to see I want to see it to continue to exist, so I can exist. Ali Dawah, you're an idiot.
That's where all my family lives. That's where I grew up, and that's the country I want to see continue to exist, so I can exist. You cannot make this stuff up. Wallahi, this guy is yani. Should I tell you something? If you was my brother, I would disown you, bruv.
Bro, if you were anyone's brother, they would disown you. You complete clown. And I don't want to get personal, but he's mentioned this. Ali Dawah has mentioned this. That he's not even on good terms with. Oh, his dad disowned him when he converted to Islam. So you should know all about that, mate. Again, I'm not trying to make it personal. You are.
My brother, I would disown you, bruv. You are the biggest scum, double standard, bum licker, shoe licker, boot licker. You are. Palestine should exist.
Okay. So where's the double standard? The double standard is people like Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah and Hakikachu and all these other Dawah guys. And we saw this in the was it 2 weeks ago in that interview with Patrick Bet David, Hakikachu and Jake, whatever his name is, the convert. All of these guys live in the West. They use their freedom of speech. They use their individual rights. They can change their religion. They can convert to Islam. They can preach on the streets, go to Speaker's Corner, be fully protected by the police, spout the most nonsense that they want to. And they advocate for a system that is completely different to the one that they live in. When asked, why don't you move to a system that already exists in the world? Why don't you move to Muslim lands, a land that is closer to Sharia? No. They won't move there. So no, you are the house. You are the fake Muslims. If you're such a hardcore Muslim, if you're Sharia till I die, right? You go to your Muslim lands and you do all this bidding there. Why are you enjoying our freedoms and then spitting on them at the same time? You're the scum. You're the double standard. Okay? Nas is being genuine and authentic to himself. He's like, listen, I love this place. I'm not complaining. I love this place. This is where I live. These are my memories. This is my house. My family's here. I want to protect this. You and many people like you secretly wish for the downfall of this country while at the same time living here and enjoying its freedoms. You, Ali Dawah, you are the double standard.
This too as an independent state, and I hope to see the country thrive and become less extreme. You can't make this stuff up, bro. Bro, you cannot. This guy is the definition of a coconut. The definition to become less extreme. So they are extreme for wanting the lands that were stolen back, and they are fighting to defend themselves, and that makes them extreme. And not a single word of calling that state terrorism. No. And I hope to see the country thrive and become less extreme and more prosperous. I love Palestine. I have invested in Palestine. You are a coward, bruv. You are a coward. Go invest in your soul. It's not my home. So from today onwards, he goes, I view myself as an Israeli Palestinian. Israel first, Palestinian second. You are a munafiq first and a scum second, and then a third, you're an Israeli. So it's very clear, guys, that subhanAllah,
All right,
these
hang on,
people,
hang
these
on,
sellouts, this in your
hang on. Let's. I want to
I
actually.
am and I am invested in Palestine. You are
I want to read this and break this down for a second. Okay, so Palestine should exist too as an independent state, and I hope to see the country thrive and become less extreme and more prosperous. Where's the controversy in that? And by the way, I actually agree with that statement. I agree with that statement. I want Palestine to be an independent state. I want to see the country thrive, become less extreme. By less extreme, he means he doesn't want to Israel. He doesn't want the Palestinians to wipe Israel off the map. Bro, man, honestly, sometimes when you come across these guys, you think, is there anything in their head, or is it or is it full of hay, like straw, like for what the horses eat? The level of anti-Semitism, the level of violence that is normalized in that country, unfortunately, due to a very bad history, um, yeah, it is pretty extreme. And if you see like some of the statements that the Hamas leaders and some of the statements contained within their charter say regarding the Jews, we'll wipe them off the this and Israel, whatever. Yeah, that's pretty extreme. That is pretty damn extreme. Palestine, I love Palestine and have invested in Palestine. And then he says coward. I honestly want to slap this guy. Where's the cowardice in investing in Palestine? He's probably invested more in Palestine and raised more attention about Palestine in a positive way than this clown has. But it's not my home. Ali Dawah, where's your home, bro? Your home is Britain. He's some Iraqi Kurdish guy. He doesn't even have a home. Okay, your home is Britain. His home is Israel. So from today forward, I view myself as an Israeli Palestinian. Oh my God, the ground is shaking. He's moved from Palestinian Israeli to Israeli Palestinian. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna cope? So genuinely, this is just baffling. It really is just like this man is so stupid. It's unbelievable. He's literally explained. He's grown up here. He's lived here. His family's here. That's why he's now referring to himself as an Israeli Palestinian. He knows he's ethnically Palestinian. No one's going to change that, and he's not even denying that. He's just saying I've got more attachment to Israel because I've lived here. I haven't lived in Palestine. So to be fair, that's a very, very, very honest review because there are many people, and I'm going to use my own example. Many people, for example, I'm Pakistani, who've lived in Britain, born in Britain, their children born in Britain lived in Britain. They've got grandchildren born in Britain lived in Britain. There's probably 3, 4 generations of Pakistanis that have lived here in this country, not in Pakistan. And yet you ask them where you're from. I'm Pakistani, bro. Pakistan's in the ball. Pakistan. I'm like, yeah, fine. But see, they still think themselves as Pakistani. There is a lack of willingness to sort of integrate and just be one with your environment. And I'm not saying all Pakistanis do that or all immigrants do that. No, it really does differ. But unfortunately, I have seen this that you're Pakistani, you'll always be Pakistani, your kids will be Pakistani. No, my kids will be what they want to be. They can decide for themselves what they want to be, and there will be no pressure from me to say you are this, you have to be this. This is very low IQ. This is a very low IQ way of thinking. You have to be this. No, you don't have to be anything. You can just be yourself. That's why we have freedom in the first place, so you can decide what you want to be. Right? So, yeah, I've definitely seen it from my own point of view that there is still a lack of willingness to integrate. And I think my friend was telling me that in East London, I think it was in Tower Hamlets, there's like third generation Bangladeshi people there who most of them don't even speak English. I think it's the wives or the mothers, the females. There is a serious lack of integration. I also had these problems when I was younger as well. Am I Pakistani or am I British? Am I Pakistani or am I British? Why are we giving ourselves and our children these unnecessary identity problems? It's such a waste of time. Genuinely a waste of time. Am I this or am I that? Am I this or am I that? We shouldn't be defining ourselves by your ethnicity shouldn't be the main component of where you live. Should not be the main component of your identity. That's what I believe. Right? It only makes sense if you live in a time or a place where you're being specifically persecuted for that thing. Right? But if you're not being persecuted, which I believe Nas is not, I think 20% of Israel is Arab. They're not, as far as I'm aware, there's not big persecution. That's not to say persecuted. That's not to say that there aren't instances of racism. Of course, there are in every country, but there's nothing that they can't do that an Israeli can do. So Israeli first, Palestinian second. Makes sense. Why? Because he lives in Israel. His home is in Israel. His family's in Israel. So if Israel's attacked, he's going to suffer. Sometimes it takes a shock like this to see it clearly. 100%. Many times we are walking through life and we don't really analyze things properly, and a big shock to the system makes you realize where your priorities lie. Because if his house was attacked by the Hamas, would he be like, well, it's okay that you've attacked my house and killed my family because we're both Palestinians, so it's okay? I guess that excuses your bad behavior. No, it doesn't. They kill indiscriminately. They don't care. Anyway, let's see what this buffoon has to say.
For us. I love Palestine. I have invested in Palestine. You are a coward, bruv. You are a coward. Go invest in your soul. It's not my home. So from today onwards, he goes, I view myself as an Israeli Palestinian. Israel first, Palestinian second. You are a munafiq first and a scum second, and then a third, you're an Israeli. So it's very clear, guys, that subhanAllah, these people, these sellouts, this coward, wallahi, if you see this individual, just look at his face and say, shame on you, you coward. You sold yourself for a few dirhams of money. You remind me in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Pharaoh and Haman, those who sold their own people. Very interestingly, the Bani Israel, they sold their own people. You remind me of them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swallowed him and all his might and his wealth and everything that you are putting first before your Palestinian brothers and sisters who are going through that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to destroy your wealth. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you suffer how your Palestinian brothers are suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put no barakah in your life. May He make you suffer like a dog, and inshallah you turn to Islam. And
what did you see that? He prays for his suffering, destruction, pain like the Palestinians, shame like feel like a dog, and at the end convert to Islam. What the hell, man? What kind of dawah is this? What kind of dawah is this? Listen, hear that one more time. It's just brain dead. There's nothing in there, man.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put no barakah in your life. May He make you suffer like a dog, and inshallah you turn to Islam and fix your ways, inshallah, and repent for Islam. You flipping utter coward. I hope to God I see you face to face one day, inshallah, so I can say these words to your face. You are an absolute coward. No backbone. Shame on you. You're a little weasel. That's what I have to say to you. May Allah deal with people like you. Brothers and sisters, support your Palestinian brothers and sisters wherever they are. The link is in the description box below, inshallah. And by
all right, shut up. Okay, that's enough of that clown. Complete and utter clown. I honestly, genuinely, you would think with age there'd be some level of maturity. Something would be like maybe he's white. No, in fact, I would argue he's getting worse. Genuinely, I would argue this man is deteriorating in his arguments, deteriorating in his logic, and becoming much worse. Mind baffling. Some of the crap this man has said, and I have seen this attitude. Shockingly, in the last week since the attack, this blind faith, blind support of Palestine. Anything Palestine does, just back it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's an unprovoked attack, if it's civilians. There's people literally dancing. You can't even dance anymore. Well, lot of them. I'm just gonna highlight some of his comments because I genuinely, every time I watch a video of his, sometimes I'm like, bro, is it even worth the energy in going through his arguments? Because they're not even arguments. They're just literally just blah, 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 blah. Coward, coward, coward. Like a little boy. You know those petulant little kids that just say the same thing again and again. Literally, that like, just what are you talking about? Complete nonsense. Israeli Arabs, Muslims have more rights than 90% of citizens of the Islamic world, and especially compared to Copts in Egypt and Hindus in Pakistan. Exactly. I would rather be a minority in Israel than a minority anywhere else in the Middle East. 100%. Not even close. Not even close. Right? It's literally not even close. For some reason, we got people here asking me about Tupac albums. I don't know what's that got to do with anything. But yeah, there were some interesting comments here. Here we go. This is a very good one. They hate Israel more than they care about Palestinians. I think there is some truth to this. There is, and I said this before with relation to some. There are some people who want to see this country fall, even if it means that their own children kind of suffer. There is this weird sort of anarchistic. I don't know if that's even the right word, but sort of anarchy, destruction, just sort of like tear the whole thing apart. You know. There we go. Hi, Baba. My father-in-law, Baba. I call him Baba. It feels weird to call him Hassan Ridwan. But he doesn't want Hamas. So this is with relation to Nas saying he does not want to live under Palestine. He does not want Hamas, a tyrannical authoritarian government that doesn't allow elections and executes dissenters. That's pretty straightforward, right? He wants to live in a country where he can speak his mind and where he can go to the voting booth and express his opinions. He can't do that in Palestine. That is not possible. Ali is a monarchic himself. Why doesn't he move to land of Sharia instead of enjoying his freedom in the West? You, Ali, you coward. Precisely my point. All of these guys, all of these Dawah guys should get on a ship or a plane, or whatever it is, and just say, you know what, guys, we're gonna live now that Afghanistan is run by Taliban. Go live in Taliban country. Go live in Saudi. Literally, go there, have your gender segregation, no music, no nothing, your depressing, boring life. Go be a man of your word and go live in those countries. Why don't you rebuild those countries and do your stupid pranks there? Let's see how that works out. When they do these stupid street pranks, let's see how that goes on in Afghanistan or Saudi. You enjoy it here because you know no one's going to do anything to you, so you're the coward, right? Okay. Hang on, we got some more comments coming in. But anyway, guys, that really annoyed me, that video, and I think you know what it is. A lot of the time, and this is actually a conversation that's happening now with regards to multiculturalism, that has failed, it doesn't work, and a lot of people say, and a lot of lefties are saying, no, it hasn't failed. This is all just racism and anti-immigration, all this kind of stuff. And then something like this happens, the attack in Israel, and this capital city streets are flooded with Palestinian flags. Which just shows there's a massive disconnect in the West with regards to culture, with regards to values, right? And I don't like, even as a you could say libertarian. This is my own conflict, which I have yet to resolve. I am a libertarian. I don't like telling people what to believe and think, but at the same time, I kind of want people to have a vested interest in where they live, and I don't want to go into the whole patriotic kind of like, you must believe in your country, you must believe in this. I don't like that kind of force feeding down people's throats. But for God's sake, if you live in a country, then shouldn't you at least protect the values that offer you freedoms? This is almost a contradiction or paradox within libertarianism, that you let people believe what they want to believe, but sometimes what they believe is actually so stupid that it actually could shake the foundations of your whole society. This is why we need a strong conservative uh, movement or party within the country, but you also need a strong liberal party, and not one that's completely bankrupt. A strong liberal party should protect the individual rights, which they're not doing, because now they don't see people as individuals, they see people as groups. Those are the black people, these are the gays, or the LGBT, these are the brown people, these are the Muslims. They don't see people as individuals anymore, the liberals, which is what they should have and did do. They don't do anymore, right? The whole group think was the more conservative aspect, for the family, for the nation, and that was the initial, that is the tension between the two. But now you got the liberals that are groupthink. So who now is protecting the individual, right? I think conservatives probably are the most, but I don't think they're doing it in a serious way. I genuinely don't, right? So there's literally no party in the West, or no movement or idea that is genuinely protecting the individual. It's just playing games now, one group versus another group. Anyway, I'll take a couple more comments or questions, and then we'll call it a day. I know it's late and people are tired. Uh, I think both the left and right are equally as predisposed to groupthink. Maybe it's different in the UK. No, I think for the most part you're right. I think the conservative or the right side has been slightly, obviously I would say slightly more free speech, but only because the left is so crazy that it's kind of easy to be pro free speech now, or pro individual rights, or pro whatever, because the left is genuinely lost his marbles. But everyone is playing this game. Everyone is playing this group game. My group versus your group, right? And there is one thing I would like to say, and I think actually this whole Israel-Palestine attack, this conflict, this recent one, has prevented this from happening. Oh, maybe prevented this from getting worse. What we noticed, and this actually could deserve its own video, but I'm just going to mention it here briefly. What we used to notice before is that the left was very romantic and cozy with Muslims or Islam, because Islam or Muslims are the other, right? And rightly and wrongly, the left always stood for the small guy, and because they're a minority, there is a real potential that they could have been discriminated against, and this was true, especially after 9/11. It was very and 7/7. It was pretty bad for some people in the West. If you were Muslim, it was quite tense. So maybe they were so they do look at them as some sort of exotic creature that they have to protect. Okay, even if it means going against their own values in terms of free speech, gay rights, all that kind of stuff. Okay, even if it means that they still have to side with the Muslims because they're a minority, and by definition, minority are always victims. Okay, fine. Now you have even the conservatives being very romantic with not just Islam, the average Muslim, but some of the more hardcore Muslims. Why? Because the conservatives literally have no support, right? The left has gone completely wild. So, in terms of gays, in terms of gender, right? These basic things that we took for granted, they've gone completely nuts. But they're like, well, at least the Muslims know genders. At least the Muslims agreed that there are only two genders. At least the Muslims aren't pro-gay, LGBT, 52 different pronouns. At least the Muslims aren't like that. At least the Muslims believe in the family. Muslims aren't pro-gay marriage. So now they're like, well, it's so lonely here on the right. We might as well embrace these guys. So when it was convenient for the left, They embrace the Muslims or the Islam as the other, as the small guy, as the minority that need to be protected and mollycoddled. Now you have the right saying, man, it's bloody lonely here. How do we explain to people that there are only two genders? I guess we got to go with the Muslims. So Islam has become this political football that both sides use when it's convenient for them, right? Despite the fact that on both fronts, it isn't the conservative, the right wing in the West, and the left wing in the West, both right and left wings in the West, they don't sit comfortably with Islam because Islam is its own thing. It's its own thing, and some parts might overlap with the left, or some parts might overlap with the right, but there's not a natural fit. So even if the right do adopt or welcome in the Mohammedajabs of this world, they're going to be hurting themselves. Because when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to national identity, even free speech, even the conservatives, they're not anti-free speech the way Muslims are. No way. Absolutely not. And this is one of the things that really, really, really annoyed me when I saw Jordan Peterson. And I like Jordan Peterson, but I don't agree with the things. But I think there's way more good in him than there is bad. So I'm not going to just hate on the guy even if I disagree with him. But you see the passion with which he, if you remember that video where he was in that university when he was talking against the whole trans agenda, Trudeau forcing him to use pronouns or things like this is against free speech, and you change the way I think and change the way I believe and change the way you can't tell me what to use, you can't tell me which pronouns to use, you can't tell me to monitor my language and this and that, anti-free speech, and the passion with which he handled those issues was incredible. But where's that same passion when it comes to Muslims saying, don't make fun of Muhammad, don't draw a cartoon? Where is that same energy and passion? Okay, and I think it's because maybe now that's changed because the whole Palestine Israel thing. But before it was because, well, these are people of the Abrahamic faith. Well, they're conservative people, and I can respect people of tradition and people of this kind of stuff. And so that was his blind spot. That was his blind spot. So both sides have blind spots, which the Muslims or Islam exploit. And to be fair, the right and the left exploit them. But what this leads to is that no one is principled. No one is saying I'm not going to give into these weird demands because it does not align with my values. And I think we are in a position now in discourse where we don't really care about values. We care about what's expedient. We don't even pretend anymore. I really don't think we even pretend anymore. Anyway, that's that rant over. Okay, maybe a couple more comments. Peterson went off the rails defending religion as a whole. I think he regretted that later, though, when he saw how insane Islam is. Yeah, well, I hope so, because he was like defending religion. See, another thing about Peterson, when asked, "Are you a Christian or do you believe in God?" he gives the most annoying, wishy-washy answer. I act as if though he exists. Or do you believe he does exist? Well, I act as if he does, or whatever. Bro, just give a straight answer. Are you a Christian? Well, I like the Bible, and bro, answer the damn question. Every time, do you think Jesus died and came back to life? Well, I will need like something like 40 hours to answer that. You need 40 hours to answer that question. Whether or not he died and came back to life. It's either a yes or a no. So even he would use religion when it was favorable for him, but when asked a direct question, "Are you a Christian? Do you believe in God? Do you think Jesus died and came back?" Oh, I would need something like 40 hours. Bro, no one's got 40 hours. Oh, here we go. Here we go. What do you mean what do you mean believe? Yeah. What do you mean believe? And what do you mean in? And what do you mean God? What do you mean by all this? Right? Then he would get so meta and so meta. right? So like I like his story, his lectures and stories, all this kind of stuff. I like it. It's fun. It's interesting. But when you need a direct question, when you ask a direct question and ask for a direct answer, oh, sorry, there's not enough time in the world for me to go through every single one of these. No, it's nonsense. Complete nonsense. You know, it's just tiring, man. It really is tiring. Um, Thanks for you do video. I appreciate your point of view. Thank you, Julia. Thank you for tuning in as well. I know it's a bit late, but you have to understand I have to do it when the kids go to sleep, and I'm actually really tired right now. So, but anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. And I think this Israel thing has shocked. You know how Nas was saying that sometimes it takes a shock for you to see what the real world is, or a shock for you to change your mind. Something like this, a shock. And a lot of these conservatives were kind of flirting with, oh, maybe the Muslims are better after all, maybe Islam should be. This has shown them that although there may be some overlap, there is more indifference. There's more different visions of the world. That both visions are very more different than they are the same. And actually, we need to protect Western values. If there is any good thing that can come from this, I hope it draws the battle lines very clearer than before, because they were very murky before on both sides. Um, yep. Peterson seems like an atheist who doesn't admit it. Alex did it. Do you remember Alex O'Connor? Maybe, possibly. Yeah, exactly. When again, he believes in evolution. He believes in all this. I mean, and he's an actual scientist. He believes in all this scientific literature, all these different things. But for some reason, when it comes to this thing, he goes wishy-washy. Very, very wishy-washy. Okay, I think we're good to go, guys. If there are any last comments, last questions, if not, I'll wrap it up there. I don't like to take too long on these live streams. I think we should keep it short-ish or less, an hour max. But I'll try and keep these vids coming. Really appreciate everyone that tuned in, who commented. Please, please, please like the video, subscribe, share, and do what you can to get the word out there. Last question: how's Mimsy? Is doing very fine. We're both well, both taking care of the kids. It's been quite hectic. Um, it's very tiring, but also very, very rewarding. Um, yeah, that's what I'll say. It's very tiring, but very rewarding, and it's a big change. If you've never had kids before, and you have kids all of a sudden, and your world is completely flipped upside down. You're thinking, "What the hell? How do I do this?" But let's see what happens. Well, anyway, guys, I'll leave it there for now. I'm just blabbering on now, but send me if you like me to review any more of these videos by these great intellectual Dawa people. Please send them to me, either in the chat, Instagram, Twitter, and I will react to them. But thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much, Ali ibn Ali Dawa, radiallahu an, the great intellect, who is a coward. But anyway, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.